tuning into Raw Travel. I knew I should have gotten that cheap hotel on the outskirts of town. Man, this is some cool stuff.
The U.S. and Poland, peace is restored.
Will you take me for a ride later on?
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, no.
For the raw traveler, this is the toilet.
It's off the beaten path, but on the beaten path. And that's a perfect combination.
This is very, very healthy. What do you have on you?
It is.
Yes.
Raw Travel, I gotta say, this seems like a dream job for me. I love this job, but if you know, if this didn't work out for me, I'd want to do this. Raw Travel, a one-of-a-kind, fast-moving television series that showcases the growing wave of socially and environmentally aware travel.
The camera follows host Robert Rose as he navigates through the unpredictable realm of adventurous travel to off-the-beaten-path locations all over the world. And joining us now is executive producer and host of Raw Travel himself, Robert Rose.
Hey,
All right,
guys.
so we got a little snippet there. Tell us a little bit more about Raw Travel. How did this idea come about?
Well, Raw Travel really came about, like, first of all, of course, I love travel. And I was traveling, pretty much solo travel, and was just having all these life-changing experiences, quite honestly. It has literally changed my life, all for the better. And I had a choice, you know, continue traveling and, you know, share this experience via blog. But because I'm a producer, I said, well, what I really want to do is turn other people on to this type of travel.
Sure.
It's a growing wave of travel. More and more people are doing it. And I'm by no means a travel expert, but I am a travel enthusiast. So I want people to sort of get the experience through this fellow traveler and maybe inspire them to take their own trips.
Right. So I would imagine it's probably, sorry to cut you off, pretty important that you really kind of have that everyman sense. Because if it's a travel expert, there's you and there's us.
Right.
But you are us.
Absolutely, and I make mistakes on the road all the time, and we keep them in. You know, Raw could almost be, you know, the same thing as real travel.
Right.
If I get ripped off by a taxi because it's something stupid I did or didn't do my research, it's in the show.
It's in the show.
If we have a good experience, it's in the show. If we have a bad experience, it's in the show, because that's what travel is. It's never 100% all good, and it's quite often uncomfortable.
Right.
But I found in my own life, I'm happiest when I'm uncomfortable. It's weird.
You seem to grow the most when you're uncomfortable, too.
You
So
do.
tell us a little bit about your background. You're not an expert, which we've said
Yeah.
multiple times, so tell us about your background.
Well, believe it or not, I started out selling advertising at you know, local television in Nashville, where I'm from, and moved to New York City and worked for Spanish language TV and ad sales. Got into production, you know, a few years ago, and produced some stuff in the Latin market. And that's really when I started traveling. I started meeting these people from, you know, mostly Latin America, and they would tell me about their country. It would be Guatemala, Colombia, Mexico, and I was like, I want to go check that out. And the thing is, by getting to know them, I sort of took an insider's tour. It wasn't like something I looked up on the internet or in a travel guide. I got it straight from them, and they were like, here's where you go. And often I go to a town, and I would be the only quote-unquote gringo in town. And literally, I remember one time I walked into the restaurant, the entire restaurant stopped. It felt like the music stopped, and it was like, hey, and I was like, oh, they haven't seen a guy like me before. And I was extremely uncomfortable, but by day 2 or 3, I was friends with everybody in town, and I loved it.
That's great. So Robert, obviously here in Albuquerque, what are you doing here? What's the experience been like for Raw Travel in the Duke City?
Well, we're starting our season 3 taping, and basically what we're doing is we're doing what we call the Great North American Road Trip, Western Frontier, and we're starting off right here in New Mexico. And we're going to do Albuquerque, Santa Fe, Taos, but we're also going to hit some of the outlying areas. And we're just taking a 3.5-week road trip from here to Utah, Wyoming, South Dakota, Colorado, and filming an episode along the way. So we're filming Raw Travel New Mexico first, and we just got in last night. We've only filmed 1 segment, but I got to tell you, so far, I'm from the South. I think New Mexico may be friendlier. I mean, you know, unless something bad happens.
Good on you, Albuquerque.
That's right.
Let's keep it up. Let's keep it
Now,
up.
there are a ton of people who would love to do travel shows. So what do you think are there tips that you could give people? And what do you think kind of separated you from the other people that tend to want to do this?
Well, there's definitely more qualified people than me, you know, no doubt. But because I guess we married my production expertise, and really we're independent. So, you know, we made it happen, and there's a lot of sacrifice that goes into
Sure.
it. And quite honestly, I wouldn't recommend someone do it. Not because I don't want the competition, but because I really don't have a life. This is my life. But for a traveler who really just wants to do something, you know, the web is great, and there's a lot of bloggers. You know, and I would just start off doing that and grow it from there. I mean, you know, the whole reason raw travel exists is because there's a dearth of travel shows in the U.S. It's one of the most popular genres internationally, but there are travel channels and there are things like that, but they don't really do authentic travel.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we are really sort of, you know, and if we're successful, I think there'll be more shows like that, and there'll
great.
be more opportunities, I hope.
That's great. Well, guys, you can catch Robert on our sister station. You said My 50, is that right?
Yeah, My 50,
My 50
yeah.
Sunday mornings. For more information on the show and on Robert, head over to Casa.com. Happy travels, my friend.
Thank you, guys.